Write, write, write. This habit of just writing words in whatever language you speak will honestly change your life in a manner that will not only improve it, but will dictate everything you do from here on out. No matter how much experience you have with writing and what you do for a living, writing any and all information down in cases like journals, books, and scripts will change your life for the better, and I'm here to prove to you exactly how that is the case. If you don't know me, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest writers you will ever meet. As an author, writer, and educator, I make sure people stay on the path of self-improvement, but also staying on the path of reading and writing. It's in desperate need with the rise of social media and AI, and understanding how that foundation works will allow us to create something that will change people's lives for the better. If you want to see how I can help you with your own writing projects, you can. In a case like this is a fantastic element to work with, and you can check out my Instagram down below to see exactly what I mean. For now, let's get into writing and how this will dictate your entire life. The title, as you can see here, is copying off of one of my biggest videos I've ever made, Read, 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 It Will Change Your Life. In that video, it was one of the earliest cases of which I recorded at this exact setup, and I talked about the importance of reading books. Books of non-fictional elements, fictional elements, and even poetry back here have fantastic pieces that will allow you to see what you can and can't do with your life. These words and environment you put yourself in with these books will showcase what you can do with the information you get. In that case, I want to flip that idea on its head with writing. The other side of reading and writing is amazing in how we can see the words that require. In the case of things such as journals, books, and scripts, these words written down on these pieces of paper will allow us to see what we can and can't do. It's an honestly free will environment that will allow us to see the information we get from our own mind. And it's an amazing aspect by itself because the way we journal and the information we write down are amazing in getting the ideas across in what we want to do with our lives. One of the earliest journals I've ever done was back when I was 12. I started journaling back in 2022, and it's one of those where I just wanted to write down an idea. I've always been avid and key on writing stories, but I never took it seriously until I wrote a journal. Yes, this is a picture of SpongeBob I drew back when I was 13, but it's one of those where I'm genuinely proud of how far I've come along simply because of the words I made. This is the first journal I've ever made back when I was young, and I've done it in a time period of 2 weeks. It's not great, but I can see the ideas my younger self made in just getting what I want. Gratitude, goals, the things I did for that specific day, the books I read, and so on. This information not only serves as time travel in an amazing, fantastic kind of element that you don't see, but it can also see what we can and can't do with our lives. As much as I emphasize on writing and how it will change your lives, what changes with it is not what exactly you write, but it's what you do. The habits you form from things such as journals, books, and scripts can not only affect the stories you're making, but it can also affect the information you're giving. This journal was my first ever one I've ever gotten done with. This one was one I made last year, and this is the current one I'm still working with that I use as information throughout these videos. It's an amazing aspect of my own life that I can use to show to the world, and I love how important these are in the case of writing. Even if you aren't someone key on writing, someone who's completely new to the craft, I can tell you, you have all the power to do it with the simple command that I give. As I've explained at the start of this video, words dictate how we live. No matter what kind of books we read and even the information we get from said books, that information will tell us what we can say. They give us the knowledge of new words and the criteria given to the information we gather. And this is amazing, especially in the case of writing. Reading books can and will change your life because of what you get from dedicated authors and writers. In the case of writing, you are making that book come to life. You are making the stories given in this information, and you can even change what you want at will. You could add drawings, as I showed in that SpongeBob image. You could draw diagrams and information, and overall you can give what you want both to yourself and to your audience. This is great because there's plenty of ways to go about writing, not just in the form of journals. If you want to take it more seriously, we have books, and in most cases we also have manuscripts. Manuscripts, for those who don't know, are the prototypes to books. In a way, they are books' foundations and their own spines. They are not the literal spines, but they give out the information required. One of my favorite examples is how fiction works, and the script given out in this can be seen as one where you have to continuously read. But with the information given out from said book, you learn a lot about the information it's telling you, how fiction works. It's an amazing aspect of reading, and I can tell you this book honestly made my writing even better than it already is. One of the greatest elements of this book is the fact that details of all kind will matter. You can throw in seamless amount of details, whether you're in your own book you are currently writing or in a journal. In those cases, you write something that will allow the information to shine, and that alone will stand in what you're trying to give out to either yourself or to an audience. No matter what, the details matter. And that's why I want to emphasize books and manuscripts. For other types of writing, such as scripts and technical writing, there are a lot of elements that honestly hinder the way it is. For instance, I don't use typical scripts for these videos. My kind of script is honestly on my phone or on a sticky note I write on the camera, and then I just explain the information that I've written. This is great because even in the smallest forms of writing, it can talk to me in a manner that will allow me to share such ideas. It's an amazing aspect that will showcase what I can and can't say, but it will also showcase what I can do with my life. There's plenty of ways to go about writing, but no matter what you write will dictate what you can and will think. The goals you write on notebooks and journals will gladly give out the information you want. And with that in mind, here's what I want you to do as the viewer. You came to this video expecting new ways to write ideas, or at least implement new ways to gain the creativity that comes. Writing, whether it's just gratitude or information, can dictate how we can see and perceive our lives. And I want to shed light on the habits that will affect your writing specifically. There are 3 specific habits that, as writing goes, you need to improve upon this so that you can get the writing you want. Even if you're someone who's just writing for the sake of journaling, all kinds of writing, just picking up the pencil and creating an idea, will change the way you perceive the world. And this is an amazing aspect to think about because writing in itself is a craft that takes time. One of the best habits that allowed me to look at writing is exercise. This is the first of 3 habits that I want to talk about in healthy habits to build inspiring writing, and exercise, like the cases of kettlebells and dumbbells and barbells, is one of those where you can use that information and gain credibility in it. These habits will go along with writing. And as I said at the start, I want to help people not only in the case of reading and writing, but also self-improvement. Exercise is one of those where you've definitely heard of it before. It's easy to get across because you start small. Just like writing, exercise, you need to start small and implement what you can and can't do. Those aspects of exercising and how you can throw that in. While I'm not the greatest or the most credible in this craft, I regularly go to the gym at a specific hour every day of the week. This is because not only will my brain be sharpened by the workouts I'm doing, but it can also leave a proud memory. I know that one of the first ever workouts I did, I wrote it in this specific journal here. And I wrote that information down because it felt so natural and nuanced to create such a memory. It felt right in the moment, and I'm proud of how I can create that information. These habits I'm going to explain here will make more inspiring writing that will allow you to think more creatively. No matter what craft you do or even what occupation you deliver on, even in the case of businesses, you writing million-dollar ideas start with journals. And doing that, we need to improve on specific habits like exercise. The second big habit I want to focus on that will lead to more inspiring writing is sleep. Now, if I turn the camera over there, you could see my bed. It's facing down. It's not exactly on the floor, but you see the idea I'm getting across with sleep. Sleep is one of those that will affect the way we think. Even if you go to sleep with your phone or blue screen on, which in most cases I don't advocate for, with that in mind, you can still get information and ideas rolling around in your head. I know that those sleepless nights, I physically can't do anything. I just start writing in this journal, and this journal is comprised of a lot of 1 a.m. thoughts that I just came up with, whether it's just the music I write or even just improving my own handwriting. A lot of journals are elements that will allow you to get better at, and even in those cases where you do get better, it's good to start writing the mistakes you have, the mistakes you fall on. And that's where sleep is amazing, because not only improving your sleep will be one of those goals I would definitely implement, especially when writing goals in your journals, but it will also allow you to see what you can and can't do. Now, I keep on bringing that up, can and can't do. You can do anything in this world. But those habits I'm telling you on with writing, it will navigate you to do the right rather than the wrong. And that's where sleep does a fantastic job of just doing what's right. Getting a good amount of sleep from 8 hours to more is allowing your brain to shine. It will allow your brain to think more sharper so that you can write stronger creative ideas for whether it's books, journals, or scripts of all kind. And the final habit I want to focus on, especially when writing more inspired writing, is diet, as well as other passions. There are plenty of things that will affect your writing and how it can change your life. It's one of those where, yes, it can and will change your life, but only if you change your life with it. Journaling by itself is not going to flip your life on a coin. What it instead will do will give you the ideas to shine, and it will make million-dollar choices that will affect the future from here on out. And that's where diet and other passions come in. These habits of eating well and doing things outside of writing will allow you to be a better writer. It's complicated, but to be a good writer of any kind of criteria, you need to do other things outside of writing. And that's perfect because there's plenty of ways to get that across, and I go into these ideas much more thoroughly on my second channel, which you can check out after this video. For now, see what can and won't work. See what habits that will stay with you, and even in the ones that you don't think much of, like exercise, diet, and sleep, do them effectively. With diet, I specifically think about just eating a little bit later. The more you fast on a specific idea, the better you can think about it. What I mean is, if you don't eat until a given amount of time, the more you can get work done, which is why writing is so important, because even if you don't agree with what I say, write your own ideas, write your own beliefs, write your own system, and write your own implementation of those ideas. Whatever you do, start writing in any and all kinds of forms. I personally suggest if it's just goals or gratitude, write it all down in a physical notebook. If you want books and those more creative, adventurous stories, type it all out on a laptop. And if you want to just make more ideas come to life, do those 3 habits I mentioned at the end of this video. Sleep, eat well, and exercise. Keep all those in mind. And keep on doing what you do well. If you enjoyed this message, I hope you can check out my other videos explaining how to dive further into your writing. If you want to see exactly what you can and can't do with the steps you require, you can check out my other channel as well as my socials down below. If you want to see exactly how I started writing with books, fictional books in particular, you can check it out down there as well. And until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.